I can't think of a mix or a playlist that I've made in the past few years that doesn't include this danceable banger. I do not do enough videos about 45-inch records. I have a pretty sizable collection of them, obviously not as many as my LPs, but I do enjoy collecting them, especially when they're unique or rare. In this video, I'm going to show you my 10 most valuable 7-inch records according to Discogs. If you haven't already, it'd be awesome if you'd like this video, hit the red subscribe button, and turn your bell notifications on so you don't miss out on any weekly videos I put out. I just wanted to show you guys real quick, the way that I've started storing my 7-inch records, I was struggling to find a good solution. I usually had them in like a shoebox awkwardly. There was never a solid way to display them and keep them safe until I found Romany House Boxes. This is just a really awesome solution that fits them perfectly. It's beautiful to look at, and he actually was able to etch my logo onto the side of it, which is amazing. As you can see, it fits them all really nicely. It has a little front section to make sure you can store your favorite record and it can be displayed. And it fits a lot. It fits probably at least 70 of these, if not more. They're pretty cheap. I'll link in the description if you want to check them out, but if you're looking for a 7-inch storage solution, this is definitely one of the ones to go for. Motion City Soundtrack and Trampled by Turtles. Wait So Long, Disappear. This is a split 7-inch of these two bands covering each other's music. Now, I'm not a gigantic Trampled by Turtles fan, but them covering Motion City Soundtrack is amazing, and Motion City Soundtrack covering them really brings their music to life for me. I try to collect a lot from Motion City Soundtrack because they're one of my favorite bands. If you saw my Top 100 series, you know that Even If It Kills Me ranked incredibly high in the list. This is this really beautiful translucent aqua blue, and this one's pretty hard to track down. I managed to get it for a lot lower than this, but it tends to go for 40 to 60 bucks. Next up, we have Kid Cudi, Day and Night. This was the song that put Cudi on the map. Everyone knows Day and Night, but what this 7-inch also has is the amazing Crookers remix. If you were at any club or bar when this song came out for, I don't know, 5 months after the fact, you heard the Crookers remix of Day and Night because it was an absolute banger. But both versions of the song, whether it's the introspective kind of personal one that he put out on the album, or it's the Crookers remix, you can get both on this amazing 7-inch. It's gonna cost you about 50 bucks, give or take, to get it. This next one is the first of a couple pairs. I paired a couple artists that have similarly valued 7-inches that I couldn't really decide which one I wanted to show. These are two by Nujabes, obviously one of my favorite artists. If you guys haven't heard Nujabes, you don't watch this channel. He unfortunately passed away in a car accident, but before that he gave us an inordinate amount of wonderful music, jazzy hip-hop fusions, just some of the greatest beat making and the most laid-back sounds you've ever heard. These are two singles. This is Flowers and After Hanabi, and this is Kumomi. These are both getting harder and harder to find. You're gonna end up paying about 40 to 70 bucks per. This is a cool one. Saint Pepsi, Fiona Coyne, Fall Harder. So this is actually a 7-inch that released right before he had to change his name to Skylar Spence, because there was all that snafu with, you know, Pepsi. Because this actually has the Saint Pepsi name on it and it's an official release, the prices for this skyrocketed because it's become a bit of a collector's item. Besides that though, I love these songs. I wouldn't be exaggerating when I said that Fiona Coyne is probably in my top 10 songs of all time. I can't think of a mix or a playlist that I've made in the past few years that doesn't include this danceable banger. This future funky, disco-inspired, vaporwave-esque music is gonna cost you between 50 and 100 bucks, and lately, it's gonna be the high end of that spectrum. Richard Houghton, Saving a Life, New Mexico. Two amazing songs from Richard's Sonata de Grillo album, which a lot of you have picked up some of the reissues of. Some of you were lucky enough to get the liquid-filled version, which I did as well. This was my first ever exposure to Richard Houghton. Before we were even friends, I heard his music and I was blown away, and I went on his Bandcamp. This was in 2015, before he was a crazy hot commodity where all of his records sold out instantly, and they had this little lathe cut for sale. I think there were only 20 or 30 copies. Mine's numbered 5. He used to stamp his records, which was cool. It's a really nice, high-quality, clear lathe, as good of quality as any of Richard's lathe stuff moving forward. He's always been a perfectionist, and these are two of my favorite songs he's ever done. Plus nostalgia, because it was my introduction to what has become one of my favorite artists and a good friend. Secret Circle, Keep It Low, and Satellite. So Secret Circle, this is kind of a tragic story. Secret Circle was a hip-hop supergroup that was on track to releasing one of the best albums of the year a few years ago. It was Lil Ugly Mane, Wiki, and Antoine. So, Lil Ugly Mane, as you guys know, is one of my favorite rappers. Wiki has put out some pretty phenomenal projects lately, but unfortunately, between when this project was announced and the album was supposed to drop, there were a lot of allegations against Antoine with the Me Too movement that were pretty substantiated and really unfortunate to hear about for the victims involved. Not so much for him, I don't feel bad for him. But due to these allegations, the project disbanded and Secret Circle's album was no more. These two songs are the only vestige that exist in physical format, and they're great songs. It kind of sucks because I don't support Antoine's music anymore, but it's a cool collectible to have from Lil Ugly Mane, one of my favorite rappers of all time. This will cost you between 60 and 120 bucks. Let's jump back to Richard real quick and talk about his project A Cosmic Gift. If you guys follow the Too Many Records record label, you'll know that the third record I put out last year was A Cosmic Gift's Field Notes. Well, these are from an earlier album entitled A Journey to the Purple Planet, and these are some extremely limited ancillary 7-inches he released along with the full-length record. This first one is Another Galaxy, and it is an unbelievable, I'm trying to see if you guys can see this on camera. It's this really cool, kind of dirty, liquid-filled, just unbelievable. Years later, the liquid is still here, but take a look at how cool this is. This is a awesome 7-inch liquid fill, one of the first I think Richard ever did. None of these have ever sold on Discogs, but there's one on sale for 110 bucks if you're feeling spendy. And this is another pair of songs from the album, Moonlit and Space, on this really crazy kind of silvery rainbow hologram record. I mean, this thing is, wow. This one will cost you between 90 and 150. Better Oblivion Community Center, Little Trouble, and Sleepwalkin' Daydreamin' Remix. Better Oblivion Community Center is Phoebe Bridgers and Connor Oberst of Bright Eyes. They put out one of my favorite records from last year, and I had the pleasure of seeing them on their tour. Another pleasure was finding out they had a tour-exclusive 7-inch record. Now, this has received a repress on a different colorway since the tour, but if you want to get this blue version, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. These are selling between $72 and $100 for a 7-inch. But you know what? Phoebe and Connor command those prices because they're that damn good. This is the only way to get the song Little Trouble as of now, and the Daydreaming version of Sleepwalkin' is terrific. And we're doing another double right now. We're going to dive into a little vaporwave for this one. Two early releases made in 2014, very early on in the vaporwave scene. These are by George Clanton's project Esprit, Summer Night and Girls Only. These are just such vaporwavy covers. I love them so much. These are actually EPs that each contain 7 to 8 little mini songs. These are great listens and some of Esprit's best material to date. Each one of these is going to cost you 60 to 120 bucks. They have been out of print for a long time, and I can't foresee George Clanton repressing them, but I was lucky to grab them on the Bandcamp for retail when they came out. Finally, my rarest 7-inch is actually another vaporwave record. Telepath, All For You, Sensuality. So this record in particular is not the usual Telepath that vaporwave people tend to know with the ambient kind of slush wave stuff. This is almost future funk. It's really upbeat, it's energetic, and it shows another side of Telepath that he doesn't often show in his cassette releases. The reason this is so rare is because of the variant that I was able to get. I believe there's only 36 copies of this. Easily one of the coolest 7-inches I own. Take a look at this. One side is this blue, and you flip it around, the other side is this purple, and it has these little like eyeball kind of shaped. Extremely hard to find and extremely good music. $50 to $150. And I'm really guessing you're not going to find it on that low end. So there you have it. Those are my 10 rarest 7-inch vinyl records. Please leave a comment with your most valuable 7-inch records. I'd love to find out what other stuff has kind of skyrocketed in price, because it's really kind of shocking which stuff does and doesn't, and it's always interesting to find it out. Make sure you subscribe to Too Many Records, and thank you guys for watching. More videos soon. Take it easy.